It can be tough to know where you stand with retirement. Investments, you got retirement accounts, savings, Social Security, insurance. How do all these pieces, how do they all fit together?
Omaha's retirement strategist Darrell Bryant is here to explain. Darrell is one of the area's leading financial advisors, and he hosts a weekly retirement radio show in Omaha that airs Saturday mornings on 1110 KFAB. And of course, he helps folks in Omaha plan for retirement.
Darrell, welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, there's a lot of different pieces to the puzzle.
There are a lot of pieces to the puzzle.
And you brought a diagram actually today to speak about some of them.
I thought, you know what, and I'll give a shout out to Barbara, Sarah, and Eric for throwing this together at 5:15 last night.
Well, that's good.
I thought it would be a really good visual aid. So here's the thing, when you get, where's the camera? There we go. When you get ready to retire, I used to describe the time where you would go into retirement as kind of like a gauntlet, like you're going to run into all of these things that you're going to have to try to run through, and any of them could derail you. Another way to look at that is a puzzle that you're really trying to put together at time of retirement, and people do not understand how interrelated these issues are. So I'm going to give you an example. As we were putting this together, we have a client in just this week, brand new client, and what they did was, here they are about, they're about age 69, and they made a mistake right down here with their Social Security maximization a few years ago.
What'd they do?
Well, they could have taken advantage of file and suspend maneuvers and restricted applications, et cetera. There are still things, contrary to popular belief, there are still maneuvers that you can take to maximize your Social Security. For them, that move alone is probably going to cost them about $150,000 during their retirement, just on Social Security maximization. But let me tell you how all of this affects this retiree. So we made a mistake here in not maximizing our Social Security. That in turn is going to affect the value of their IRAs when they turn 70 and their RMDs, the required minimum distributions. In other words, had they gone for the extra $150,000 here, long story short, it's going to affect when they turn 70 that they have to take their RMDs, required minimum distributions. That in turn is going to put them in a higher tax rate. Okay, at that time they're going to pay an enormous amount more in taxes, more than they would have liked to when they turn 70. Had they had an income plan, as I work my way around the horn here, had they had an income plan at the beginning at age 65 or 66, and they recognize this now, then they would have avoided these first things. They would have had more money to leave their kids via their wills and trusts, which need to be reviewed because they haven't been reviewed in many, many years. And so all of these things are interrelated, not to mention this one down here, and there are so many more, Mike. There are so many more pieces to this puzzle, but we're just trying to simplify this for demonstration today. Most people have never given a thought to how much health care is going to cost during their retirement, and that number is at least $300,000 during your retirement that you'll spend on health care premiums and things like that.
So what you're saying, because they didn't maximize their Social Security at the right time, it affected their IRAs, their taxes, the whole income plan.
It's a ripple effect.
Yeah,
it's a ripple effect. So when people come into the office and they say, well, how hard can it be? You know, I mean, or what do I not know? Well, we have a checklist that we'll go right down and say, well, let's start right here. What are we doing about this? What have you done so far? Where do you stand today? And what can we do to shore up perhaps some mistakes that you've already made or avoid them in the future? These RMDs, let me tell you one other thing as for maybe back to this board here, is another mistake that these people may have made is their IRAs. When you go to do your RMDs, your required minimum distribution, you take your RMDs from your IRAs. That's a different function than when you take your IRAs from your 401ks. 401ks must be satisfied individually, where IRAs can be commingled, so to speak, mathematically, and you can pull anywhere you want. And that's a 50% penalty if you mess that one up. Okay? So bottom line is this: these are all interconnected, and they will have a ripple effect on your entire finances, and just on Social Security alone, this particular client, and they're a 7-figure saver. Okay, this particular client is probably going to lose $150,000 just on their Social Security decision. Again, which will have a ripple effect all the way around as we try to shore this thing up.
So after you take a look at this, you know, the takeaway here is to have a comprehensive retirement plan, right? I mean, you really need those. I mean, look, it's kind of overwhelming.
Well, yeah, and what you need to do is you need to have here's the problem, is we need to have someone when we're getting ready to retire, and it's supposed to be a stress-free time, right? You're supposed to have an easygoing time. We're going into retirement. It's a top 10 stressor. If you don't have one individual who understands each of these components, or has someone who he has access to who understands, to pull all these things together, then you have a problem. Most people, in fact, this particular client, they have a brokerage guy, okay, an investment guy they've been working with for 20 or 25 years. And yet, as they're approaching retirement, there was never any discussion of this. Why? Because most who will call themselves financial advisors, that's a good thing, but they're just money guys. They're just custodial relationships, and that's okay.
They're basically looking to grow the nest egg.
They're just trying to grow the money. Okay, but if I have a person sitting in front of me that's 66 years old, that's pretty recognizable. Okay, they got gray hair. We got some decisions to make.
They're new.
Yeah.
Don't look at me, Kelly.
Right around the corner.
They're nearing retirement, right? And so the takeaway is have that comprehensive retirement plan. If you are nearing retirement, you need that comprehensive retirement plan.
And you brought a special offer for our first 10 callers today. So this is fantastic. The first 10 callers receive a full-blown retirement plan from D. Bryant Retirement Strategies. Give them a call at 402-932-2141 or dbryantRetirementStrategies.com.
Yeah, and to qualify, you must be nearing retirement, already retired, and have at least $250,000 in a retirement savings. Here's the number again to call right now. You said it, Kelly, 932-2141. To receive that full-blown written retirement plan, and it is free of charge.
That's a great deal. Well, thank you for the visual. I mean, it's crazy to think about all that money.
It's a big
they all
deal.
work together.
It's a big deal, believe me.
It is.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks,
Darrell.
Yep. Good to see you. Guests of the Morning Blend start their day with coffee from Pears Gourmet, the official coffee